Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. First episode of the regular season underway. Blue Line Radio. This is Miles Porter. I am Mike Hughes. Of course, you listen to BLR. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Cubs lost today 4-6, which makes them 4-6 on the year, ironically, to the Tampa Bay Rays. Junior Caminero does what he does best, hitting absolute moonshots off Jameson Taillon and any of your favorite pitchers in baseball, because this kid, Miles, you and I were texting about it earlier with Saul and Gabe. I mean, look, I understand not a lot of guys watching Tampa Bay Rays baseball. Especially, Miles, are they still in that AAA stadium for the Yankees or whatever?
First game back at the Trop was today.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, so like obviously not a lot of Rays fans out there, but I'll say this: if you're ready to see a future New York Yankee go absolute ham, watch Junior Caminero. I mean, the second that kid gets out of Tampa, man, it's gonna be a blessing for whatever team he ends up on. And I wish that could be our Chicago Cubs, but we'll get into why that won't be the case later on.
I got things to say.
We got a lot to say, and we're ready for it, man. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys being here. Miles, first, foremost, back at Wrigley, back at the friendly confines. 1060 West Addison is filled with life again. You got a chance to go to opening day, saw you on opening day, and you also got a chance to see the Angels, where I also could look to my right and saw you while I was sitting with our boy Justin. Man, how has it been back at Wrigley so far, man?
Dude, that's home to me. Like it's just home, man. I love Wrigley. To me, Wrigley feels it's the best place in the world. It is when there's a lot of outside noise going on. I know I can go to a Cubs game and just enjoy the atmosphere, the camaraderie, everything. I've had a lot of fun the first two games I've been to. It's just cool being around the fans, man. And to me, the outside of the performance on the field, and you and I saw a really good game last Monday with the Angels in town. That was a really good game. Really fun game, great weather. But like just being around your fellow Cubs fans, being at Wrigley. Shout out to John on the Oregon. Shout out to Jeremiah, who's so great on the PA. He's so great. It's just the atmosphere of being inside the stadium feels so great, and so. I'm very hopeful that the performance is going to match kind of the energy that we've all been bringing into Wrigley, cheering on these guys to, play well this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a blessing, man. And opening day was absolutely terrible. From a weather perspective, from a game perspective, everything was absolutely terrible. But I did tell you, I bumped into Kerry Wood. Didn't big game him. I want that known. I just looked at him. I was like, "What's up, Wood?" And he was like, "Hey." And then I just walked away, and everybody was like, "Dude, you just like lost an opportunity to talk to Kerry Wood." But I met Kerry Wood. We did the whole interview thing with him with Obvious Shirts, and it was really dope. And it was an amazing opportunity with them. Shout out Obvious Shirts. Did that a couple years ago. But I was like, kids are trying to. I remember being that kid. I remember CubsCon 2016. I bumped into Jason Hayward. And I had a ball in my hand, and then a sea of grown men just pushed me out the way, and I didn't get a chance to get a ball signed by Jason Hayward or even get that interaction. So now that I'm older, I do kind of like think of it from that perspective, like, hey man, there's a bunch of kids that want, like, Kerry's on the move, so he's gonna do really quick and then be on his way. I want to make sure everybody gets what they want. I don't want anything from this guy. So hey, what's up? How you doing? Go about my day. I guess that wasn't perceived very well from some people. They were like, whoa, like I was like, I don't know. I thought it was very, very normal. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't know. But yeah, man, opening day, kind of a stinker. We did see an incredible game against the Angels, and then the next night I saw a not so incredible game against the Angels. 0-2. Not the best way to end that one. 0-2 loss, but they cleaned it up. Won the series. That's all that matters at the end of the day. After losing that series against the Nationals, I think it left a sour taste in our mouth, especially when how stacked this team really is. And no disrespect, but outside of James Wood and CJ Abrams, it really is a AAA team over there in Washington, man. So the fact that we lost that series at home for the opener definitely was disappointing. But Miles, man, kind of getting into it. I know there's a lot of conversations we could have right now, but I think our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. What did he say? Ooh, you remember that, Coach Carter?
Yeah.
Let me stop. No, our greatest fear about this rotation is kind of falling into play right now. Matthew Boyd is now on the IL with Cade Horton.
Yeah.
Who big scare with Horton, man. I mean, this is a guy who had Tommy John surgery in 2021, left the game with forearm soreness. We saw that with Justin Steele last year. The reports are that it started in his wrist and made his way up. So, like, I'm a little more optimistic, still not a fan. But, I mean, take me through how you feel right now, man, overall. Just, like, this rotation, obviously 3 guys on the shelf if you include Justin Steele. Like, where do you go from here, man?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of uncertainty, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable at the moment, just because I feel like the pitching hasn't been incredible. But we've got, I mean, thank God for Edward Cabrera. I mean, this dude has been lights out, untouchable. He has such a presence on the mound, and it feels good to kind of have a guy out there that has a presence. Not a lot of these dudes really give me, they come off as like presence kind of dude. Yeah, you know, I trust Javier Assad's stuff. I think he's kind of on the list of guys to me that he should not be one of those up and down kind of guys that they've treated him like. I've never really agreed with that. I think Javier Assad, there's a role for him definitely on a big league team full time in terms of whether, you know, kind of playing Ben Brown's role, you know, kind of like a long reliever role or a spot starter. I don't think Javier Assad should be coming up and down the way he is. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And then the new kid that got called up, I am already
Martin.
blanking on the yes. Yeah. Awesome story. I think that there's a lot of potential there for sure. Obviously, we saw a very small sample size today, but the pitching makes me a little bit scared. I'm not the biggest fan of our bullpen at the moment. I got to be honest with you. And the offense not really providing any support either also makes me more nervous as well. So I'm feeling okay. Not great.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of different like conversations you can have about it. I saw a lot of people upset that Martin got the call up and you don't have a guy like Jackson Wiggins in this situation. I do think, look, for all the Cubs fans wondering where Wiggins is, from my personal opinion and just my standpoint on it, the walk rate and the command just isn't exactly where they want it to be. And when you have a talent like this, it's just not something we need to rush at this very moment. I'm completely okay with Wiggins not being up at the moment. And you guys know, listening to me yap nonstop about AAA guys, AA guys who I just love to watch. You know, I'm the first person that's going to advocate for a guy getting a call up. We'll talk about the Jaguar later on today and why Alcantara is not getting an opportunity, or why we assume he's not getting an opportunity at the big league level. And Michael Conforto's out here ruining no hitters for Edward Cabrera. I mean, it's what are we talking about? You know what I mean? But
it landed right behind him. It was yeah.
But he's out there for his defense. But shout out to him. And then we got Matt Shaw out here looking like a high schooler with the routes he's running. It's crazy.
He's making plays though, which has been
he's making plays.
You can tell that he's not familiar with the right field, but he's been making plays. He made a really good catch today. I was like, all right, cool. Hey,
you look. I don't know. You ever seen a Wolverine? Like he looks like if you ever watch like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine when he runs, that's how Matt Shaw runs. Matt Shaw runs like he's got something to prove. Matt Shaw runs like he's in the middle of the shits, like he's in a war zone, just running down a field. I mean, that guy's moving. But no, man, I would love to see Wiggins, man, but obviously at this moment in time, it's just incredibly frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, the big concern is Cade Horton. I don't know what's going to happen. I know last year, you know, I told you the entire time, like, hey, man, this Steele stuff is way more serious than I think they're leading it on to be. And it ended up being that. And I think right now, for me, them being very precautious about it, I appreciate. Like, keep them out for as long as you need to keep them out. Yeah. But I'd also say this. If Cade Horton is in a situation where this is a potential season-ending injury, or a season-ending situation, maybe something needs to get cleaned up in the elbow, maybe there's something going on that we don't know about, sooner rather than later would be preferred. Because I was the first person that told, maybe not you, but I told you since the end of the 2024 season that something wasn't right with Justin Steele. I told you towards the end of that season, the velocity was just kind of weird. He just didn't look very comfortable. He kind of had that elbow soreness. And then they end up waiting all the way until next April, May. You know what I mean? And it's like, if this is a situation where he's getting shut down the rest of the year, Miles, I would rather it be sooner rather than later, because it's
absolutely
what are we dragging it out for? Then the ERA looks bad and the confidence, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah. Don't. My gosh, the Cubs have fallen victim to this the past few years. Yeah, like don't wait for it. Also, in a sense, to like God forbid he's out at the but he's out for the rest of the year. But if the deadline comes around and guys, and JMO's still getting shelled, right? And Justin's still trying to find his feet, and Shota can't really find his command.
Yeah,
do something, do something.
Now,
and like when I say do something, like do something. That doesn't mean sign like a Michael Soroka. I'm saying do
no Lucas Giolito,
something.
please.
Like bring in someone who's really gonna make a difference here.
Yeah, I'm with you. And here's my opinion. We don't know what the price is going to be this go around, but maybe at the deadline you have a realistic conversation about a Joe Ryan. You know what I mean? Maybe that's where we're at this year. Maybe last year the price was too high. Maybe this year it's not. You know what I mean? Like a move needs to be made. And I'm excited to see what that is, but we're months away from that, so we're not even going to speculate. But I do want to get on some positive stuff. I do want to. We're going to go back. Turn the clock back. The Lovable reunion. You've been listening to it. Are you fully caught up?
Goodness. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude,
yeah.
It's been. I saw John Lester's going to be on tomorrow morning. I'll be listening to that on my commute on the way to work. I mean, dude, it's been incredible, man. Can I tell you one thing though? And I didn't realize this. And look, I should know this. You and I have played ball at of age levels, I would say, for drinking at a college level or just like pro leagues, beer leagues, whatever. I did not realize how much these guys were drinking in 2016. I mean, and it's not. Look, I want to start by saying it's not that it was ever a problem. Like everybody in the league is doing this, but hearing Riz and Rossi talk about like Riz pulling up to the Pirates series a little hungover and grounding out into a double play with the bases loaded, he smacks a home run. But hearing that like him, Lester, and all the guys were just getting absolutely toasted on nights where they have a game day at a 1:20 start the next day. It's so much fun to hear stories like that. But I'd also say if you're a betting man in baseball and you're on FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever it is, makes you nervous. Like, dude, like where was my third baseman last night? You know what I mean? Was he accounted for? Was he in the hotel? Was he tucked in by 10:30? But man, what has been your take so far, and like your favorite, like what's been your favorite part of the Lovable reunion so far?
I just want to say I'm not really worried about this Cubs team going out and partying before the night before. I'll say this team doesn't strike me as like I'm not even gonna go there. Not yet. Honestly, yeah. I mean, the conversation that first episode with Rizzo and Ross and kind of talking about like just like his leadership and Rizzo. It's cool because Rizzo speaks with so much enthusiasm and a lot of respect.
Yeah.
He has a lot of respect for David Ross, and it's clear that David Ross had a ginormous impact on his career. And yeah, I mean that story when he grounds out and Rossi gets on him, then Rizzo hits a home run, and then he's staring at him and he's yelling. I love that, man, and I really appreciated that Joe Madden episode because Joe Madden has always been such an interesting guy to me. I've always admired him just from a leadership standpoint and really like getting into his mind as to how he wants players to think, how he wants players to like turn the clock and let go. He wants everyone feeling comfortable. He wants the vibes up, and he was so creative, with like the disco ball and the little things that everything, the flamingos and the animal.
The bears were crazy. The little baby bears.
Dude,
in spring training.
That's so cool, man. It's so cool. His whole mindset, just to how he talks about the game, it's so different, in my opinion. He's so different from every other manager that I've heard speak in my lifetime. I loved it. I'm a huge Joe Madden fan, like huge Joe Madden fan. So I really appreciate kind of his perspective that he brought to the Cubs, and he really did redefine, what the Chicago Cubs are in terms of a winning culture.
Yeah, I think the Lovable reunion does a really great job and a great service to Joe Madden, because I think there were so many fans that were calling for his head towards the end of his tenure with the Chicago Cubs, and so many people that kind of just questioned the decisions he was making. But I think without Joe really going into it, a lot of questions were answered. You know what I mean? And I think one of the biggest ones was everybody in that clubhouse from top to bottom, whatever era it was, whatever year it was, says nothing but positive things about Madden. And to me, it's like, if the players can't tell you one bad thing about the guy, how can we say anything bad about the guy? Again, this is a guy who broke a 108-year curse. He's the only manager to do it in over 100 years in the Chicago Cubs organization. So no matter how you feel about him, you gotta respect him. Respect 90, the whole shebang about everything he did for Chicago and what he was trying to create. He did it. And I don't think, like we talked about and like we've heard in those episodes, was him allowing them to be them. And the clubhouse was led by the players. And that's such a huge part to the rain delay speech with Jay Hay and Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, and Addy, and everybody else really just coming into their own and being allowed to be themselves. I mean, it doesn't happen without Joe Madden. I just want to say that first and foremost. Right. And it's, you know, I think it's a beautiful thing. What I loved and kind of my favorite part within the whole thing, it was interesting to kind of hear, and they touched on it very briefly. And obviously, I think because Rizzo's an ambassador there and they're not trying to create waves, obviously. But it was interesting to hear Madden say, yeah, in 2016, I was perfectly aligned with the front office. Every decision they made, I completely agreed with. And then over time, that slowly started to change. And I loved, that was a paraphrase, of course, but like that was kind of initially like,
that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're listening to that and you're like, damn, because there were decisions Madden made later on that you might not have agreed with, but maybe that's because we didn't want Brandon Morrow. Maybe that's because we didn't want Tyler Chatwood. Maybe that's because we didn't want Yu Darvish. Like, and not that you wasn't good, but you know what I mean? Like, we wanted Bryce Harper. We wanted Arrieta back. We wanted a better bullpen, a more consistent bullpen after guys like Rodon and Chappie left. And you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, everybody was so quick to blame Madden for why things was going wrong, but nobody answered the questions to why Tyler Chatwood was put in serious situations. You know, why Brandon Morrow was left on this team for as long as he was. It was just interesting why we weren't really seriously in on a guy like Bryce Harper. And I think we can play this game all day long about why things played out the way they did, but just hearing Madden get that opportunity to kind of be like, you know, it was the cards I was dealt and I did the best I could. I thought it was great, man. But I did love it. And then one more thing I thought was really great. I forget the context of it, but they were just, Joe Madden was discussing like the importance of being an assistant manager and being a bench coach and being so many different roles before really becoming
a scout.
An acting manager. Yeah. And I loved David Ross's response of saying that he had wished that he had that, because this is a guy who in Game 7 of the World Series becomes the oldest active player to hit a home run in the World Series, goes to Dancing with the Stars, and then, you know, a little hiatus for a little while, and then becomes the acting manager of the Chicago Cubs, which I will say to my dying breath, David Ross did a banging job as the manager of the Chicago Cubs with the cards he was dealt. In my personal opinion, the team was completely, I mean, dismantled and turned into something new. The guy got the most out of Frank Schwindel and Patrick Wisdom and Christopher Morel, and it shows. You know what I mean? Guys wanted to play for him. But I did love him kind of saying like, man, I really wish I got to be a bench coach. I really wish I got other opportunities to like learn how to be a manager and what you should do in certain situations, because this is one of the smartest minds in baseball from a catching perspective and from a veteran leadership player perspective. But I mean, like Madden said, man, being a manager, there's the double switches and all that comes with being in the national. I mean, it was just so cool. Miles, I could talk to you about this all day, but like, it was just cool to me, man.
Dude, I can listen to Joe Madden just talk about everything. Yeah. I mean, that was another good point. He was saying about, you know, it was important for, you know, he relied on so many of the different, you know, coaches around him to sort of remind him, you know, all the moves that were being made. Yeah, like the double switches. If there's a DH, you take the DH out, the pitcher spot comes in.
You got Pedro Strop in left field.
yeah. Pedro or Travis. Dude, he is someone who I really appreciated. And I always thought that his sort of unique style and personality and his aesthetic just fits so well at Wrigley Field, and it fits so well with Cubs fans and just everything that we love about the Cubs and just being creative. I always looked at him as like, this is a guy who I could see getting drinks with my dad or something
Yeah.
after the game. He's such a people's person, and
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Rizzo, he comes in one day after, the night after they were all out and having fun. Rizzo was like, "Hey, Skip, I'm hungover," and then Joe wasn't even mad. He asked him, "What kind of drink did you have? How much fun did you have?" He wasn't pissed off. He was telling him, "I was like, yeah, I mean." You're hungover today. Just hit the ball in the middle.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
dude, that's so cool. I love that. I like coaches that sort of bring a different philosophy. Managers, Joe Madden is someone who I really, really admire. And if I ever become a head coach or manager one day, I really aspire to really take a lot. I want to read so much more as to how he thinks about the game because I think it is so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing that rubbed everyone the wrong way was the Benny beverage commercials, but I don't know why that rubbed everyone the wrong way. Like, why are you making commercials? Why not get that bag, Joe? We're not haters over here. We're
I
not
never.
pocket watching anybody, man. Like,
The
you know what I
man
mean?
loves wine.
What's
It's
the
like a thing.
problem?
It's like a thing. Who cares?
Yeah, it was weird.
I didn't understand it. I didn't. Maybe I was naive. Maybe I was naive, towards the end of his tenure, and
World
everyone's pissed
Series.
off at him about the end of the. You remember how 2019 ended, where we blew
Yeah.
it against the Cardinals and everything.
Hey,
I
all
didn't.
I'm saying
I didn't
is
get it. I didn't get it.
a Bryce Harper in his prime would have definitely helped that series against Colorado too in 2018. You know what I mean? Like we could play devil's advocate all day long about why things panned out the way they did. You gave the same crappy lineup every day, and that's not Madden's fault. Like obviously, it was what it was, man. Guys started to fall off a little bit. Like we can't sit here and act like Schwarber was
Yeah,
hitting 50 home runs a year here. He just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like
that's the
it
thing. People got to remember. Yeah,
it is what it is. But getting back to the boys in blue on the 2026 team,
yeah.
Miles, man, first of all, I'm gonna
I'm
go.
sorry, I'm laughing already.
I got it. I look. I seen a lot of people in my comments, man. Seen a lot of people talking, a lot of people tagging me in posts. I get it. I get it. Ian Happ is off to a very hot start. I got to see him hit a home run the other day. Look, I hear you. I hear you. Ian Happ is off to a great start. And I heard someone say that by the end of this season, he is a potential candidate in top 10 home runs of all time for a Chicago Cup. All that is great. Shout out Ian Happ. Just want to give him all his love. 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 5 walks, 18 strikeouts in 10 games with a 200 batting average right now. But hey, man, he has 4 home runs, so shout out to him. Let me not. I'm gonna calm down a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about a few guys, and I'll name a couple guys. You name a couple guys, just like what we're seeing so far.
Sure.
Um, I want to leave Bregman for you and get your initial take on that. I'm looking at the numbers right now. If you don't have them in
Okay.
front of you, you have 10
Yeah.
games, 40 at bats, 2 runs driven in, 6 hits, and 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 150 batting average, OBP of 244, OPS 544, slugging 300. What are your thoughts so far, man, on Bregman in Chicago? Because opening day for me, opening day was a little underwhelming for me with Alex Bregman. Obviously, we see him get his first hit as a Chicago Cub, and that's incredible. But I really just wanted to see some great defensive plays, and that was not what we got from that. And it was a very cold, bitter, and just overall nasty day at Wrigley, man. So I'm not gonna hold that too much on him. But how do you feel so far about Bregman in Chicago?
I don't have too many. I don't have too many thoughts just yet. I think it is, regardless of how much experience a guy has and how optimistic he has, no matter where you go, there's going to be an adjustment period. And the performance in the beginning may not be all the great. It may not be what we hope it is, but what it's supposed to be cracked up to be. I remember Giancarlo Stanton's first stint with the Yankees back when he was signed there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so for Bregman, I'm still trying to give him a little bit of time. Um, I do believe that this is a guy who's seasoned. This is a guy who knows how to win. He
Yeah.
knows how to lead. I'm really not concerned about Alex Bregman. So I don't want people to get on him too much. All right, this is a blessing. I mean, let me tell y'all something. If Bregman didn't sign here, people would really be pissed off. So I'm just grateful that he's here. I know that he's going to do a good job. So I'm not too concerned about Alex's performance. It's tough, man. It's tough playing here, man. It's still winter here, bro. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at
It
least
might snow
winter really
tonight.
just ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's this is bro. It's so tough to adjust here. Um, I really want to give A-Break some time. I think he is a quality player, and he will, he'll live up to to his contract, and the performance will show eventually. And I have a lot of faith in his bat, and his glove is going to be just fine. I want to tell people you try fielding a ground ball at 101 at the left side. You do it. You do it when it's 30 degrees. Yeah, please, by all means, from
Yeah.
one third baseman to another, I got his back.
No, 100%. I'm with you. I think for me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real.
No, yeah.
And I don't want to sound like an old man, but when I saw Bregman on his TikTok journey and making a bunch of social media content in the WBC, I thought it was really cool. But then as it continues to progress and the Cubs are losing games and it's starting to give off like Justin Turner vibes of like, hey man, I'm ready for this next chapter of my life. And you know that he still has so much good baseball left in his career. This is not Justin
Oh
Turner
yeah.
2025 at all. But I'm like, oh man, I really hope this guy starts playing well because you know how there's all these sports radio networks are gonna be when he's making TikToks and the Cubs are under 500 and it's just gonna be a thing. Yeah, I feel like an old man, especially as a guy who makes TikToks and stuff. But like, whatever. Yeah, it definitely. I was like, oh, I got to be careful with that one, Breggy. You know what I mean? But no, man, Bregman's been solid. I think it's really cool. I got to see his first game as a Cub at opening day. Really cool to see him get his first knock. Obviously, I missed the game where he hits not his first home run, but also his second home run.
Right. Yeah. Of
That was
course.
disappointing. Should have been there.
Yeah.
It always plays out that way. But
It's all. Yeah.
we saw his first night game though, and they absolutely teared it up, which was really cool. That was awesome. First night
That was
game
a
at
great
Wrigley.
game to be at. Oh
That was
my goodness.
an incredible
Oh
game.
my god.
Made some great plays as well. Robbed Mike Trout
Yeah.
of a huge hit, which pissed me
Yeah.
off. But because I was there to see, I've only seen Mike Trout get one hit in my entire life, and I've seen him like 6 times. It's crazy.
You and me both.
But it's I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, at least we saw him because, like I texted you, like we said, I was like, we got to see him before he hits that
Yes.
IL.
Yes.
He's on the IL, brother. He's there.
Oh gosh.
No, but I love it. But one more guy I just kind of wanted to brush past, and then we have to talk some contracts, and we'll talk about the play of them so far. Um, I think it's really interesting to kind of break down Moises Ballesteros, and
Mm-hmm.
I think seeing him so far batting 150, doesn't have a home run on the year if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, he doesn't. Um, I don't know. Mo Baller, man. We talk about it a lot about what he could potentially become, who he could potentially become. Is this your DH of the future, a guy who can hit 30, 40, maybe even 50 if you're lucky home runs a year? I don't know yet. I really don't know how I feel for him as a hitter. I know we have a lot of questions on from a position standpoint defensively. If you put him at first or you put him at catcher or whatever the case may be, or you just DH
Yeah.
him the rest of his career, that's fine. Where are you at right now with Mo Baller as a hitter? And where do you want to see him end the 2026 season?
Yeah. I think it's important to really point out that this is a very young dude with a lot of upside. Um, really, it's just his approach. His approach is he's still really trying to find his rhythm right now. Pitchers are really kind of having their way with him.
Yeah,
Um, he bat speed isn't his issue. The way he's seeing the ball, in my opinion, is not really the issue. It's his pitch selection
yeah,
that I'm like, okay, this is something that they can improve on for sure. I think that there's so much upside with this kid. I worry that overall, as a team, the hitting philosophy just isn't really there right now. I think the Cubs are struggling right now to find an identity offensively, and it's kind of spilled into every single player. I, who to say that Moises Ballesteros doesn't hit? He isn't hitting 260 right now. If he was a Tampa Bay Ray, I believe it. I truthfully believe it. I've never. I'm curious as to what the overall like goal with him is for sure. You got to they got to be patient with him. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, well, hitting 150 at this point, it's it's not good. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of room to improve there. But I hope that they do not take the confidence out of this kid. Taking him out in late game situations, putting him in late game situations after sitting on his hands in the cold in Cleveland, kind of throwing him out there to the wolves. That's dumb. That's just so stupid to me. So give this kid confidence, man. Seriously, don't give up on him. He's 22 years old. How good did Pete Crow Armstrong hit when he got called up?
not very well, but that's
so I need people to understand this is going to be okay. Like he's going to be okay, but it is concerning. It is concerning. It can get potentially worse, but I don't think it will.
For sure. Now I will say very small sample size, but Miguel Amaya, Miggy is back.
Mm-hmm.
I love Miggy. I mean, I am just so happy to see him back in a Cubs uniform. You know
That's
how
right.
It's the guys. He was so emotional when he went down last year, man, especially in a playoff push. Batting 417 right now, man. He has a home run on the year. He's been incredible. 4 RBIs, 3 walks, only 2 strikeouts, and 6 ABs. I mean, his OPS is off the charts too. He's got a 1.283. He's been phenomenal, man. Slugging 750. I mean, Miggy has been that guy. I'm really excited about it. I had a very high hopes for Miguel Amaya when he was drafted in the Cubs organization and brought in. I definitely think this was a guy that we knew was going to be a project, a guy that over time we'd have to just see what happens. And I think he has become a very serviceable catcher and a pretty solid hitter. I'm really excited about it, man. I really don't have much else to say other than I'm just so happy he's back. I love Carson Kelly to death. I think Mo Baller can maybe one day fill in as a backup catcher if need be. But Miguel Amaya is the catcher of the future for me for the Chicago Cubs. I love the way he goes about his day. I love him singing "Go Cubs Go" after games. I think it's a lot of fun, man. But next up, we got 2 guys that got paid since the last time we did a show, and we were begging for these guys to get paid. Pete Crow Armstrong signs a 6-year, $115 million extension with the Chicago Cubs going to the 2032 season, and Nico Hoerner signs a $141 million extension over 6 years, also ending in 2032 for the Chicago Cubs. We got our lockdown defense. The up-the-middle defense is the best in baseball. Dansby Swanson, Nico Hoerner, and Pete Crow Armstrong. Hell, even throwing Ian Happ winning 3 Gold Gloves in a row in left field, and you got yourself a defense, man. To be able to get both of those guys locked up, man, what does that mean for you? Because I heard Ken Rosenthal kind of talk about that a little bit. Like, hey, signing Bregman's cool, signing PCA, cool, but the real test will be if they want to spend money, they will extend Nico Hoerner, and that's exactly what they did. So it's kind of a 2-parter. 1, how do you feel about both of those extensions? And then 2, do you think this means the Cubs will be spending more money moving forward? Or is this like a, hey, here's your guys, don't ask for anything else?
I think they understand the value when it comes to, I'll start with PCA. They understand he wants to be here. They know that, we know that we're going to get elite defense, the best in baseball. A lot of emotion. We're going to have ups and downs, but they're investing in this dude because they think that it's worth it. And in my opinion, I do think that it's worth it. I think there's always going to be times where he's going to test our patience as fans, unfortunately, right? But he's a guy. Pete Crow Armstrong in about 2 years will be the leader of this clubhouse, and I say that and I mean that. Him or Nico. I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
It's just Pete has all these qualities as a ball player: speed, arm strength, power, contact. When it's all clicking at the right time offensively. You just want a guy like that. He wants to be there. He wants to be here. He loves Chicago. He loves Cubs fans. He loves Wrigley. He loves being a Cub. There's nothing else to say here. Lock this kid up.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And so that's huge. And then with Nico Hoerner, I mean, come on. I like how you kind of call him, like, he's kind of like a modern day, Rhino, right? It's just a guy he's just a quality ball player, man. Put the ball in play. Get on base, take the extra base, has a lot of speed, has a great glove. an amazing, charismatic dude. He's probably the guy that every parent wants their daughter to date. He's just a really good, well put together dude. And he's just an extremely solid ball player. Yeah, Cubs fans would have been up in arms if this man would have
Oh
touched
man.
free agency, because that would have been a hard that'd have been a pretty tough bidding war for the Cubs. I think they recognize that they're probably not going to win that bidding war
No. And
against another team.
I will say this too. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want that to be the
Oh my
season.
gosh.
And I literally sat there, man. I'm at opening day, and it was really sad because obviously Nico did get extended on opening day, but it was after the fact. And I mean, if you're going to
Hmm.
lose the first game of the year to a AAA team 10-2, yeah,
Yeah.
you better give us something by the end of the night. And they gave us a
Yeah,
Nico
you
Horner
better.
extension, so I'll let that one slide.
Yeah.
But I did sit there on opening day, and I was like, man, is this Nico's last opening day as a member of the Chicago Cubs? And it
Right.
kind of made me really sad to even think that. So the fact that we don't have to deal with that the remainder of the season, and we know that this is our guy for the foreseeable future, and he's locked
Yeah.
up, I love it because it wasn't something I wanted to deal with, man. Last game of the year, whether that's playoffs, hopefully or not, you see Nico walk off the field, and you wonder, like, is that the last time you're going to see him in a Cubs uniform?
Right.
And it breaks your heart. Like, we wanted Riz to be a Cub for life. You and I have talked about that a million times. And that's still something to this day. We're going to talk about El Jaguar in a minute. Trading him for Kevin Alcantara was just one of those things where it was like, it just hurt. It just hurt to
Hmm.
do it because you understood trading KB, you understood trading Javi, you knew they weren't coming back. But Riz, I felt like would have stayed. I don't know, but to have Nico here, a homegrown guy, truly homegrown, drafted by this
Yeah.
organization out of
Yeah.
Stanford, to be able to watch him grow before our very eyes with Rizzo, Bryan, and Baez, and then even Schwarber, and then to kind of just become that leader that he once looked up to these guys, and now he's the leader of the clubhouse. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, like I always say, he's the modern day Rhino. You know what I mean? He's not going to
Yeah.
say a lot, but he's out there, man, and he's giving it everything every single day. So I love
That's right.
everything from Nico Horner, man. As for PCA, I don't know how many times I have to see a bat be broken or a helmet thrown down before we stop swinging at shit. But I do know at some point it's going to click for PCA, whether that's the
Yeah.
first half PCA or second half PCA or somewhere in between. I don't know, but I truly believe in this kid. I love the energy. Look, if you don't like Pete Crow Armstrong, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like, this kid has embodied everything in what it means to be not only a good teammate, but a good member of the city. Like, this is a guy cheering on Matas Buzelis, Connor Bedard, Caleb Williams, everybody else. He's at everybody's games, everybody's events, and some people don't like it, some
Yeah.
people hate it. It is what it is. I think it's fucking sick. I think it's so
Yeah.
cool to see all these worlds collide because at the end of the day, I mean, dude, you talk about the 80s and the 90s with the Bulls and the Bears. There was Walter Payton and Michael Jordan and Andre
Yeah.
Dawson and all these amazing players and athletes coming through up and down the system. But you don't always see all these guys together. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of
So why
cool
not
to
just appreciate it? Like, why are
yeah,
we
I
not
mean,
appreciating it? I don't get
it's
that.
it's it's fucking cool. You show me any other city that has the franchise quarterback and franchise face of the baseball team in that city hanging out together at a hockey game to celebrate the franchise player for the hockey player on that
That's
team.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't see that. Seeing Caleb
No.
and Pete hanging out is fucking dope. And like, to me, it being a problem in any sense is weird. Like, it's weird to me to think people think that that's weird. Like, the coolest thing in the world, the guys we look up to the most, the guys kids in this city look up to the most are best friends. Maybe they're not, but like, that's how it's perceived. And kids love that
Right.
shit. Kids are eating it up. That could be a Topps baseball card. Caleb Williams and Pete Crow Armstrong wearing Connor Bedard jerseys. How can you hate that? It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's incredible, bro. He's gone about it the right way. Pete has shown you that he wants to not only be a Chicago Cub for life, but a Chicagoan. And I think it's the coolest thing in the world, man. The closest thing we've had since that is Ben Zobrist riding his bike to Wrigley. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my gosh.
it's
So
really
cool.
like a part of the community, a part of Wrigley.
Yeah.
But before we get out of here, man, I know we have so much more we can talk about, but I do also want to save stuff for maybe later this week. We do another pod because obviously
Yeah.
we're figuring out the dates that are going to work for us. We're going to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it. Michael Conforto, being on this roster, he is the Justin Turner of the 2025 Chicago Cubs. We talked about it a little bit earlier about guys getting opportunities. Seiya Suzuki will likely be returning with the team Friday or Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. But I did feel like this window without Seiya was a perfect opportunity for Kevin Alcantara, who has been absolutely incredible in minor league baseball. I'll pull up the numbers right here while we, talk about this. Like, he has been incredible in minor league baseball. Miles, I am a fan, and you work in the front office for the Chicago Cubs. Tell me why Kevin Alcantara hasn't gotten an opportunity to play in right field at all.
I don't, you know what, I don't know if I could tell you because if I'm in the front office, he's playing, he's up, he's called up, right? I don't know if there's like certain metrics that they're looking at. I don't know if there's like certain numbers that they see from him that make them a little bit uncomfortable, but he has never gotten an actual chance. And it's bothered the hell out of me. It's just I don't like how he's kind of been used as like an up guy, down guy. Okay,
Yeah.
these guys are injured. We'll call you up for a little bit. All right, it's September. We'll call you up, for a couple of games here and there. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. When he's a young player that has energy, can provide a lot of, he provides so much defensively. If you guys are scared of his bat, I don't, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't understand the thinking that goes on here. And I'm also so fucking tired of the Cubs doing this thing where it's like each year we got to sign like some like past their prime vet kind of guy, right? Like I like the Eric Hosmer, Trey Man.
Trey
Stop.
Mancini, Daniel Murphy, Descalso. I mean, we could go on and on. Justin Turner. We could do this all day. Michael Conforto,
Yeah.
Scott Kingery.
While we have guys cooking in the, it doesn't make
It,
sense.
it doesn't, but and it also doesn't make sense because like there's also like make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like, why
Yeah.
did Matt Mervis get the leash that he had? And why did Christopher Morel get the leash that he had? And so many other guys get all these opportunities. Christopher Morel, Matt Mervis, the list, Patrick Wisdom, the list goes on of guys who just got
Mm-hmm.
so many. I mean, Gregory Dykman has seen more time at Wrigley Field than a guy like Kevin Alcantara. And I'll say this,
Well,
look, I think I want to find the right words to say this because I don't want to sound like an absolute asshat. They say time heals all wounds, but I'll never forget that you traded Anthony Rizzo and you traded
facts.
him for Kevin Alcantara.
Yep.
So if you're trading what was the face of the franchise at the time, the guy who broke the 108-year curse, your captain, and you traded him for a guy that you're just going to keep in purgatory hell between AAA and the bench, it pisses me off without a real reason. And like I said, we're not in these rooms. We don't know what's going on, the metrics behind it. Maybe he runs shitty routes. Maybe he's just terrible at running the bases, or maybe he just strikes out too much. I don't know. If I don't care, let me see it because it's better than Matt Shaw. Look, there's no difference. There, I'm gonna. What is? I'll ask you this: what is the grace Matt Shaw gets that Kevin Alcantara doesn't? Because to me, I don't care where you were drafted. Show me the production. If he's your
Right.
top prospect, he's your fucking top prospect. I don't care
Yeah.
what it is at the end of the day. I mean, Matt Shaw showed nothing in the second half of last year from an offensive production to tell you that not only does he deserve to be in this lineup going into this year, but he deserves to start in right field, the position he's never played at. When you have a guy like Kevin who's played over 500 games in minor league baseball. Like, I don't know what else to say. There's nothing else for me to say. It's bullshit. And I want to see Kevin have success somewhere. But I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there because I want a couple more weeks to go by and just watch. Like, Kevin has 4 home runs on the year so far.
Yeah.
Great. Let's keep going. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it next week. But until
If he
then, man,
starts cooking though, if he really starts cooking though, I just want to say this.
serious
If this
competition.
man starts to pop off, right?
Mm.
I just think at some point you gotta it's either Conforto or Dylan Carlson. Pick one. Pick
It's
one that's gotta go.
Look,
You know what I mean? Like this kid cannot be balling, and we just keep him down there to rot, and then we'll call him in September. Like I
look,
don't, you know?
I'll do you one better. You can
Yeah.
keep Conforto. You can keep Carlson. If it comes down to it, and a month from now, let's see. As of today, which is April 6th, you have a guy in Matt Shaw who is currently batting 222 and has 4 strikeouts in 27 at bats. Not terrible. Not terrible. 685 OPS, batting 222. If Kevin Alcantara is batting close to 300 in May, and Matt Shaw, still not the greatest out there in right field, not the greatest at the plate. If that's the situation, that's the situation. I am at the point with this clubhouse where the throw that guy out there because fuck it, why not, is over. Like, this is a playoff team. Every at bat counts. And we need it, man. If it came down to Kevin or Shaw, let's figure it out. Let's see who's better. Because defensively, I already know what's going on. You know what I mean? And, people are, well, you just learned how to play the position. I don't care. I don't care. It is what it is. But Miles, baby, I appreciate you being here, man.
Always a pleasure, man.
It's our first one of the regular season, first of many. Gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
We'll post this up tomorrow morning. Well, maybe we'll do it tonight because I don't want to compete with Rizzo and Rossi. We might lose that uphill battle. But we appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to follow Blue Line Radio on Spotify and YouTube if you haven't already. We will be back. The Cubs are 4-6. The next time you see us do a show, we will be 500. Damn it. I believe it. You better believe it too.
No.
Until then, peace.